Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Eniegolu. Now, in the few months since the coronavirus outbreak began, scientists, epidemiologists, and virologists have rushed to investigate it. But there's a great deal that's still unknown, including some rather basic facts, such as how dangerous the disease might prove to be and how far the pandemic could spread. In laboratories all over the world, a huge amount has been discovered about this strange new threat, but so many questions remain. So we decided to take a look at what we know and still don't know about the virus. Well, to try to get some answers to some of the questions about the coronavirus, I'm joined now from our off-site studio in Abuja by the Deputy Director of the Learning and Development Institute of Human Virology here in Nigeria, Dr. Sunny Olekunle Phillips. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let me ask you the basic questions that most people have been asking us and we have not been able to provide answers to, and hopefully you will be able to answer or at least give us some sense of what direction things are moving with regard to that particular question. What if you had the virus but don't show any symptoms or only mild ones? Can you still spread the disease?
Okay, thank you so very much. So that is that's a fact with this particular virus, in the sense that it has what we call a prodromal stage. And with diseases that have prodromal stage, like this particular virus, after infection, the infected person can be a carrier of the disease, of the virus, and capable of transferring and infecting other people without before manifesting the signs and the symptoms of the illness. So with coronavirus, perfectly, the person can get the infection, spread it before he or she develop the particular signs and symptoms of this particular virus.
Now, generally, children don't seem too badly affected by this virus, but no one appears to have worked out just how much they are spreading this, COVID-19. Are children very good vectors of the coronavirus, would you say?
Okay, so good. So this is the very reason why we have to approach this as a community. It's clear from the various communities across the globe where this disease has run full circle that even though we all we are all at the different ages of the community can pick up this virus, but we all don't come down the same way. We all don't react the same way. So kids don't react with debilitating manifestation. Teenagers don't do same. But older part of the community, you're talking 50 and above, they get it and they react with debilitating illness. So children can have it, they can transfer it, they can infect others, but they don't come down with the signs and symptoms of the illness, at least with the same proportion as the elderly in the community. So they still have to be protected from getting the infection, same that you would do with the younger ones in the community, because they can now be the bridging population for moving the virus from the pool to the very vulnerable component of the community, which are the the elderly in the community.
Okay, well, that's a very good point, very interesting point. And another difficult issue is if you've had the virus, can you catch it again, or do you build up immunity?
Okay, so this is where science is one of the answers that science is trying to provide. Because there are cases now in China where some of the care providers that validated that a patient had the illness, recovered, became negative, are now seeing a trickle of some of the same patients returning with positive tests. Science can't completely explain what is going on, but it's not one can say for a fact that once you have the illness, you never will have it, as in the case of some other viral illnesses that we have, that once you are exposed in your lifetime, you develop an antibody all through lifetime that you never get to have the illness again. This particular virus is still being assiduously studied, and there are cases, few as they may appear, but there are cases where care providers are saying now, reporting anecdotally, that there seemed to be a possibility of reinfection. That is, the patient that was cleared now coming back with a positive, positive sign of being reinfected. But that science hasn't concluded on answering that particular question.
Well, the reason I ask you that is that scientists in the US and in places like China have confirmed that in patients that recover, antibodies have been provoked into action. But your contention, and I think what you're saying is supported by fact, is that it's not clear yet whether this resistance to the infection lasts.
Okay, so let me be a bit clearer. Every one of us, as long as we have a competent immunity, when we have exposure to a foreign body like this virus, we certainly will develop antibody that makes us more immune for a reinfection in the nearest or future time. With this illness, we also know with coronavirus that the antibody, and it's being used in some of the therapy, the antibody of people that have been exposed offers some measure of protection when they like a therapeutic mechanism for treating new cases of infected cases. But we are saying there are also reported cases of people that have been cleared, has gone over this disease, they've run through the full circle, who seem to return with a reinfection that shows that they have been reinfected. And that lacuna is where science cannot categorically say it knows what is going on. But a whole lot of studies is still on the way.
Right, and as this outbreak escalates, there's yet another mystery. In Italy, of all the people who've died of the virus so far, about 70% are men. In China, the fatality rate among women is 1.7%, while for men it's 2.8%. Do we know why? Because, I mean, it's been a consistent thing that more men than women are dying of the coronavirus infection.
Okay, so that can be, some of the explanations that have been offered will include the fact that you have greater incidence of smoking in men, you have greater incidence of alcoholism in men, which all, if they are present, lead to poor prognosis with the illness when that individual gets infected. So these are some of the factors that have been adduced for that increased incidence among men compared to women. That is underlining lung issue, with courtesy of the long-term smoking that is higher among men, and issue of alcoholism that is also that as plays a significant role in suppressing immunity. So those are some of the key points that have been raised to explain that particular picture of the higher preponderance among male compared to female.
Now, research has also shown that the immune system in older women can be more effective. I mean, could this be a possible explanation?
Okay, so generally when it comes to healthcare, we know there is a difference between the health-seeking behavior of men and compared to women. Women are better at taking, they are the better at taking care of their health, even in the general population compared to men. Men take higher risk. So I won't talk, the immune system in this particular case will be that not that they have a better immune system, but that their immune system in this particular scenario of reduced exposure to cigarettes, reduced exposure to alcoholic agents for prolonged time, makes their own immunity to be better, to be more competent than the immunity of someone that had had prolonged exposure to cigarettes. Mind you, this ailment is also affects the respiratory system, the lung in particular, which is where all those long-time use of cigarettes gets deposited.
Right, okay. Well, I understand what you're saying, that essentially lifestyle could be the reason. But what I find interesting and what raises a question mark over that theory is that smoking, as you said, has an impact on the lungs and the general health and so on. But in China, many more men than women smoke. That's a fact. So that could buttress the point that you're making. But in Italy, the rates of smoking are pretty much the same. Yet in Italy, about 70% of all deaths, fatalities from the COVID-19 infection are men.
Okay, so let's add a whole lot of things. So it is a composite effect of smoking, alcoholism, and social interaction. You will find men will have this more compared to women. And then when you had all of this together, you will find that it tips the scale towards men. So it's not as individual factor, but once you bring the composite nature of all those factors, then the ailment will strike men more.
Well, there are so many questions, so few answers, and a quick rush to find out more. I suppose that's the best way to explain what we know about the coronavirus so far. Dr. Sunny Olukunle Phillips from the Institute of Human Virology here in Nigeria, thank you very much indeed. You're watching the Arise interview, plenty more still ahead, including we'll hear from a representative from Nigeria's National Orientation Agency, the government department charged with increasing awareness about the issue. Stay with us.